Welcome everybody to the last call on day 4 of ICW CPD and Business Building webinars. It's been a fantastic experience so far, and we've still got one day to go of CPD and Business Building webinars. You do not want to miss out. I'm Dawn Campbell, your host and Sales and Marketing Director at the International Authority for Professional Coaching and Mentoring. And with me today, I'm joined in the hot seat by Betska. A lot of you already know Betska, but hello, Betska. And for those of you who don't...
Hello, Dawn.
Hello, I'm going to formally introduce you. So Betska K-Burr is an accredited master coach and author of The God in Coaching, The Key to a Happy Life, and who doesn't want that? So she's a best-selling author who was named one of the top 100 management consultants in the world by CEO Today magazine in 2019. Betska is an IAPC&M master coach and co-president at Coaching and Leadership International. Known as the Guru Coach, Betska is the developer of 80-plus award-winning the science of mind kinetics, coaching and leadership systems. She's also a bit of a TV personality. Betska has played a big role in the field of spirituality and is a regular on TV. And she and her partner, John, moved into their new home, I think it was around about November, so just in time for Christmas. And I've never known her be so quiet over that period, as a measure of how much work needed doing inside and out. So of course now it's spring and she can practice mindfulness when creating her lovely new garden, which actually was a mass of weeds. But knowing Betska, she painstakingly dug them all up and dehydrated the dandelions because they're excellent liver detoxifiers, which is perfect for a spring detox. And she said that this exercise with the weeds forms the basis of her talk tonight, because human beings have many weeds in our subconscious mind in the form of negative thoughts. So we can dig them out and harvest them and swap them with positive beliefs. So what once was a weed is now a beneficial part of our spiritual growth. So over to you, Betska, to shine a light on spirit in coaching so we all become warriors.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dawn, and welcome everyone to the Spirit in Coaching, Becoming a Warrior of Light. It's always a pleasure to work with Dawn and the IAPC&M. I see them as a leader in the governing body, as a governing body for coaching. So if you're not a member, please join. So I say thank you to everyone for being here, and to Dawn and the IAPC&M, and to everyone who is watching on Facebook Live. Hi as well to you. Our agenda for today, I'm going to send a full set of slides to Dawn. I've prepared many more slides that I'm going to show you, and I'm sure Dawn will be happy to send the entire deck, because there's a lot of learning that is difficult to share in an hour or 40 minutes. So, but I'm going to start with the story of Milarepa, who was a very famous Tibetan yogi. And it's a story about what we think we become. Then I'm going to be talking about how our thinking affects the cells in our body, the meaning of the spirit in coaching, what is the job of a warrior of light. Yeah, that's why you've come, I'm sure. The evolution in coaching is from willpower coaching to divine coaching. And you'll see what I mean as I go through my presentation. I'm going to be talking about pentalateral thinking. What does that mean? And why is it important for you as a coach? Why is it important for you as a leader? If you're not a coach, maybe you are a leader who's attending today. Vitally important for you. And then I'll be presenting you with a coaching methodology to tap into the subconscious, and a coaching methodology to tap into the divine superconscious. So you'll be able to go and run with it immediately, whether you're a life coach, executive coach, whether you're a leader, use it on your kids, right? Anywhere. So this is about helping you to be on top of your game and shine even brighter as a star coach. And the material I'm presenting to you here today is what garnered me that award of being one of the top 100 management consultants in the world, is the ability to take people into the subconscious mind and do it just like that. So it's pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So the story of Milarepa is that he lived in heights of the Himalayas, and it's so beautiful. Yeah, look at this view. Anyway, when you're a yogi living high up in the mountains, what do you have to eat? Well, he had wild vegetables, and they grow up there even when it's very cold. So that's what he ate. He ate it all the time. So his body was covered with greenish hair. Imagine his body covered with green hair. And when people saw him, they would ask him, "Are you a Bardoba?" Bardoba is the Tibetan word for ghost. Ghost, right? They thought he was a ghost because he was all covered in green hair. And he said, "No, I am human." Then people said, "Well, if you're a human, why do you look like this? Why do you have this green hair all over your body?" It's kind of a fun story. And it's really a story about the message on this slide: we will become whatever we eat. Isn't that true? Dawn and I, for example, are plant-based eaters. And we know the benefits of being a plant-based eater, right? It's a healthier, we're more peaceful, more calm inside. So we will become what we eat, just like Milarepa, eating all these green wild vegetables. The same applies to our thoughts. We will become whatever we think at the subconscious level. So let's embrace this thought as we continue on through my presentation. You all recognize this fellow on the right-hand side, right? The Dalai Lama. When I was in India, I had the pleasure of traveling up to Dharamshala, where his temple is, and visiting it. He wasn't there, but what a treat. Anyway, he said, there is no need for temples, no need for complicated philosophy. Our own brain, our own heart is our temple. The philosophy is kindness. A beautiful man, right? So what he's saying here is that if we train our brain, if we train our heart to kindness, to compassion, to love, to joy, to understanding, to wisdom, all the human values, then we will live that peaceful life that we so often seek. So I'm going to be giving us all a tool here today, and I hope you enjoy it. The lady on the bottom is Supreme Master Ching Hai. She happens to be my spiritual guru. And she says, all things are created by the mind. Our mind we must create. See that in purple? Our mind we must create. We must speak good things, think good things, and then we will change the negative to the positive. She said we should teach the cells in our own bodies to think good thoughts. Whatever good we think or speak, our minds, our bodies, and the millions and billions of cells in our bodies also will listen immediately. That's why I say you're your own master. So if we've got between 50 and 100 trillion cells in our bodies, how do we teach them to think good thoughts? I'm going to give you a tool to do that here today. But let's take a look at the definition of a warrior of light. The whole world has been affected by COVID. It has come, it's a positive. It has come to awaken humans to rise up out of our current numb state where we often hurt ourselves, we hurt people, we hurt animals, and we hurt Mother Earth. So a warrior of light, you as a warrior of light, you simply do this in every coaching session. A warrior of light helps the client awaken their deepest love of self and others so that they cause zero harm to self and others, zero harm to the planet. Yeah? That's a warrior of light. Wow, what an amazing job description, right? When we can help humans rise up out of that current numb state that we're in, where we're hurting ourselves and people and animals. I don't know how many 60 billion animals are killed every day, and all the plastics in the ocean, etc. We don't need that, do we? No. Okay. So we welcome you to become a warrior of light. The definition of spirituality in coaching, what does that mean? It means that we have the ability to connect our clients to their divine self for permanent positive change. Because the God self has all the answers. Client is in a state of the highest frequency, which is love, right? Every human on the planet has a different frequency, different vibration. And the highest vibration is where we achieve we call it the fifth level of consciousness, or the Buddha level, the Christ level, all the Sikh gurus, Supreme Master Ching Hai, all of these have achieved the highest frequency and above. That love connection, continuing on with my slide, that love connection gives them access to root causes of challenges so they can finally get rid of unconstructive patterns, beliefs, habits, right? And discover true innovative solutions to challenges and goals. The result, this is really cool. The client is then in a state of no limitation. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today is where you put the client into a state of no limitation, where whatever they want to work on, their mind opens up, their heart opens up, so that all these solutions come streaming in from their superconscious, from their God self. You know, we have many students in India, and one of the students there said to me, it must be about 2 or 3 years ago, he said, Betska, you have to come out of the closet. He said, you have to come out and really share the importance of spirituality and coaching and why I developed all these tools. So you're going to be experiencing one of those here today. So here's my not so secret. In the early 90s, I became bankrupt. I looked like this guy on the stretcher. I was emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, and physically bankrupt. And I really didn't have a reason to live. I was in really bad shape. But I learned how to love myself by connecting to my divine self. How? By taking a vacuum cleaner to my subconscious mind. Why? Because the 95 to 99% of our habits, beliefs are stored in that subconscious mind. But the subconscious we are unconscious to. We don't know what's there. So we need to get in there to find out what's really going on. You see? And that's why I find Mind Kinetics coaching system to be so brilliant for that. And that's why I designed it, to help me first. And then before I knew it, people started coming to me and saying, can you help me? And then, of course, now we run a school. We train coaches and leaders around the world in the science of mind kinetics. So when our client touches the hand of God in every coaching session, miracles happen. In every coaching session. Imagine that. Miracles happen. So this is how we get to divine connection using mind kinetics. And again, this is all brief overview. You can read about it in my book, The God in Coaching. Someone is going to win a copy here today. Or you can connect with me. I'm very happy to give you more solutions. But how we connect is we get the client to use all 5 parts of their brain mind. We call it pentalateral thinking. We want them in every coaching session to use their left brain, their right brain, right? The physical. Then we want them to use their invisible, the conscious mind, the subconscious mind. So these green bits here. The subconscious, where our habits, patterns, and beliefs are stored, positive and negative. We want to use the positive in the subconscious to kick out the negative. And then we want to connect with our superconscious, our genius, our Einstein centers, our God self. Yeah, very important slide. When I first started developing mind kinetics, I knew that this is what was happening, but when I was Googling, I couldn't find a name for it. So I gave it that name, pentalateral thinking, using the whole brain mind in every single coaching session. So we know that willpower coaching rarely works. You know, where you just ask a bunch of questions and you allow the client to then take whatever solutions they got and run with it. It can work, but in our research, more often than not, it doesn't work. The divine connection always works. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so let's read this slide. Whenever a client has a challenge or cannot achieve a goal, willpower coaching will rarely permanently help them. They will go back to their habits. Please write that down. They'll go back to their habits. And as coaches, if we want a reputation, if we want people to call us and continue to work with us, we need to help them to get rid of those negative habits, right? And enhance their positive habits, make those positive habits stronger. So no matter what the challenge or goal, these issues are patterns that will continue to keep repeating for the client unless three things happen. Number one, subconscious. The client needs to uncover the root cause of their habit. When did it start? And we can literally take them into their subconscious to find the exact age and event when that habit started. Imagine the power of that. Like, woof, they get so many awakenings from that. They realize why they've continued on with this habit, sometimes for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. I've got a client in her mid-80s, and she is only just now starting to love herself because of what happened in her childhood. And remember, this is not counseling. This is mind kinetics coaching. We're not here to tell people what to do, but we ask some very powerful questions so that they can pop those, we call popping receptors, if you will, for permanent positive change. So number two, the client replaces their negative beliefs around the memories with positive beliefs for permanent positive change. This must happen. And it happens how? Through the divine connection. And I'm going to show you how to do that here today. Just one of the 80 methodologies that we have in our toolkit. And then number three, that superconscious. At the exact moment when you're replacing their negative, when they are replacing their negative beliefs with positive ones in the subconscious, they stream in solutions from their superconscious, from their God self. And the solutions come in the form of a symbol, object, color, feeling, or sound. It's remarkable. I'm still in awe of it. So very important, a belief in our conscious mind must be congruent, must agree with that same belief in our subconscious. And only then can we move forward in a sustainable way. Why? Otherwise, we're going to keep repeating the habit. The negative habit. Yeah. So this is very important that the belief in the subconscious must be in agreement with the belief in the conscious mind. So, okay, let's get to it. Here's a divine coaching connection tool for you to use. Here's, let's say, for example, your client comes to you and says, my goal for the coaching session is I want to permanently improve my relationship with my husband. Or my wife, right? Or my child. Relationship coaching is, in my practice, the most sought after, as well as money, as well as spirituality. Those are the top reasons why people come to me as an executive and life coach. Need to have a sip here. So the results they would like from the coaching session, this is what they've told you. They want some simple solutions so I can literally see and feel the improvement. I was working with a client from Australia last Friday, and issues with her partner, and we did some wonderful mind kinetics work, and she emailed me yesterday, and she said, even her partner said to her, wow, I really realized a shift in you. I've noticed a change in you. With mind kinetics, it can take up to 7 days. Get the right fingers going. So what we want to do is help a client to look at emotional, intellectual, spiritual, and physical roadblocks. All four. Typically, in typical coaching systems, we look at the intellectual and physical roadblocks. But we know from all of our research here at CLI, and you can ask people like Dr. Bruce Lipton, who's famous for cell biology, the most important roadblocks are in the emotional and spiritual And where are they? In the subconscious mind. You see? So this is why it's important for us to get at the emotional, intellectual, spiritual, physical. And I didn't bring out my slides today on receptors that sit on cells, on all those trillions of cells we have in our body. But in order to pop receptors, in order for the client to get permanent positive change, we need to get at the emotional and spiritual roadblocks, because they are the most important for the human spirit. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Here are some questions to ask to discover subconscious roadblocks. And again, these slides and the recording will be available, so you don't need to rush and write these down. So for the emotional roadblocks, you simply say, what emotional roadblocks are stopping you from achieving your goal? There's more to it. But for now, for this first time you're learning how to use this type of methodology, this is very good. Ask them what emotional roadblocks are stopping them. And then for intellectual, what intellectual roadblocks are stopping you. Spiritual roadblocks. Here you want to give them a little bit of guidance, because some people misunderstand and mistake spiritual for religious. No, the spiritual roadblocks are about loving self, love of others, respect, love of God, love of, respecting others, understanding. So you clarify for them what spiritual roadblock can mean. And then you say, what spiritual roadblocks are stopping you from achieving your goal? And then you do the same for the physical. What physical roadblocks are stopping you from achieving your goal? So this goes a long way to helping the client go into their subconscious mind via the emotional and the spiritual. And you know what? Sometimes they'll come up with an emotional roadblock and it feels like it's a spiritual, and vice versa. Don't worry about it. It's just asking the questions around emotional, spiritual roadblocks that are vitally important for them to tuck into that subconscious mind. And then here's another way to help them out. This is really important. This is the CLI values chart, a way to connect to heart or divine self. These values of humanity are all numbered. So you would say, Madam Client, how would you feel about doing some deeper introspective work to go into your subconscious mind for emotional, spiritual roadblocks? Of course, they're going to say yes, right? Who wouldn't want to go there, right? It's so much fun to figure out what's going on in this unknown part of us. So you say to them, pick a number between 1 and 78, 1 and 76. And whatever number they pick, let's say they picked number 45, okay? So number 45 is associated with obedience. You see? You're using a number method to take them into their subconscious mind so that they can figure out what's really going on for them at a subconscious level, even deeper than the emotional, spiritual roadblocks. So you're taking them deeper with this type of introspection. So you would say to them, you selected the value, you gave me the number of 45, something like that. It is associated with the value of obedience as your subconscious roadblock. How is this an emotional roadblock for you? Or how is this a spiritual roadblock for you? I guarantee you, your clients are going to have a big aha moment. The tears may come. They will just feel this huge boulder being lifted off of their shoulder because they finally realize why they keep holding on to an unconstructive habit or pattern or belief. Powerful. I hope you like this. I created this just for you today. Now, after you have done the investigation, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, physical roadblocks, next comes the integration. The integration is you want to take them into their superconscious for solutions, right? You've used these 2 slides, I just showed you 3 slides, to help them find out what their roadblocks are. Now you need to get rid of them, right? You need to toss them out. So how do you do that? I'm going to show you 2 methods here today. And the first one is prayer. Look at this delightful young lady. I found her image and I fell in love with her. She's so beautiful. Oh my gosh. So this method, integration into to the subconscious and solutions from the divine self or the superconscious, you just simply read the script to them and you get them to close their eyes. It's always good. And if they are uncomfortable closing their eyes, that's okay too. I know many of my clients in China don't like to close their eyes. You know, that's just their culture, right? So here is what you say. And everybody have a sip of water, if you have some. So you say to them, to complete the integration of our great work here today and develop innovative solutions, we'll be using prayer. How would you like this prayer to take place? Would you like to say it? Would you like me to say it? Would you like to kneel, sit, stand? What feels comfortable for you today? Or perhaps you would like to say the prayer silently. How would you like this prayer to be said? So whatever happens, and sometimes the client will say, Betska, you start and then I'll add. Maybe they're a little shy. And you say, okay, that's fine. Then after the prayer, you say to the client, what positive feelings come to mind for you now? Because remember, we're taking them up in their frequency, right? If they've got all these roadblocks, they're sitting at this frequency. They're very low. Maybe in the astral world, 1 and 2. You want to take them much higher, right? So, you know, they've said the prayer. Well, what positive feelings come to mind for you? Let them speak. And then you say, what positive image, symbol, or object now comes to mind for you? And write this answer in your coaching journal. Why is this important? I'll tell you why, because many people say prayers every day, but nothing happens to the prayer. Why? Because the prayer has not been anchored in the subconscious mind. They haven't been able to reach the superconscious mind. You try this. It's amazing. They have to process it in the subconscious mind into the superconscious. They need to get a positive symbol, object, image. Everybody got that? Okay. And then you continue, well, Madam Client, what does it represent? Write your answer in your journal. And then your superconscious has provided you with the perfect solution. How is this representation a logical solution to your goal for today's session? So let's say they got a frog. My client a couple days ago got a frog and she laughed. And I said, well, what does a frog represent to you? She said, it means leaping forward. I say, okay, well, how's that a logical solution for you? She said, today I must speak with my husband. We must have an open-hearted conversation about our relationship. And this is what I'm going to do. So the superconscious gives you perfect solutions that you need to decode. So that's how you decode it, by that last question. Peace is another powerful integration method. I love this one. I hope you love it. You say, to integrate our work, let's do an exercise for peace of mind. So in their coaching journal, you get them to draw a religious or spiritual symbol of your choice. Make it about 1 inch or 2.5 centimeters high, depending on where they live, right? So it could be, they might draw a sun, a moon, a stars, or a cross for Christ, or a Jewish symbol, or Buddhist symbols, whatever. And then you get them to say, you describe your drawing. If it had a color, what would it be? And then what word is written in the center of the drawing? That word that's coming down into the center of the drawing is coming from their superconscious. Wow, their God self. I tell you, you will love this. Now, looking at the drawing, its color, and the word written inside the drawing, what does this combination represent to you? And then, how is this a logical solution to your goal, which was to improve her relationship with her husband? Wow. So the client immediately gets all these wonderful solutions. Wow. Okay. And if you want to take them more into the superconscious for more solutions, you can use the same chart, and you just get them to pick another number between 1 and 76. And you say you selected the value of self-love as your divine solution to your relationship with your husband. How is this a divine solution? Wow. Look at all the tools you're getting here today, guys. And then you complete their session with 2 to 3 SMART goals, commitment, accountability, and greatest learning. Now, I didn't share with you how to start a coaching session, imagining that if you're all coaches, you already know how to start a coaching session. We have what's called the quick guide, and it gets the client settled and gets them connected with us on a spiritual level and so on and so forth. I didn't share that today because I just thought most of you have your way already of doing that, but I'm happy to share that if you'd like it. So how does Mind Kinetics create miracles for our clients? Well, Mind Kinetics finds the root cause of the cellular shutdown and then quickly opens the gate for cellular recovery. You see, the cells are shut down. If our clients have all these challenges in their lives, their cells have shut down. Those cells need to open up so they can get fed, not just on a physical level with oxygen and glucose, but fed from their God self. Continuing on to read the slide, the opportunity for the renewed flow of energy, positive thought happens because the client connects to their divine power in the electromagnetic field, and this is the fastest healing route. The fastest healing route is the connection to the divine. No questions asked. So with their frequency raised, you've taken them from low frequency, low vibration, to high vibration. They're in a state of peace. The client becomes more enlightened. So just a few more slides here, Dawn, and we'll turn it over to questions. So the model for the key to a happy life is that everything is created by the subconscious mind. We need to understand that as coaches. So starting in the yellow, we need to discover the negative subconscious beliefs which direct you to think, act, and speak unconstructively, leading to an unhappy life or an unhappy part of your life. Then you want to turn the key. Using a strong positive belief system, turn your negative beliefs into positive belief systems permanently. And then take action. With these new positive beliefs, you're powerful beyond measure, and then you can enjoy a renewed and happier life. I come, as I said, from a rough background. I was abused emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, sexually as a child. I had a lot to get over. And I can say to you that my heart's at peace. I have forgiven everyone, forgiven myself, because I have a job to do. I can't stay in that victim mode, right? And by the way, on belief systems, I didn't show you how to do that here today because it's quite a process. It can take quite a while to learn how to write belief systems like, I, Dawn, now love myself unconditionally. Those sorts of belief systems that go into the subconscious. You actually anchor the positive beliefs. But what I've given you here today is very powerful, so please start with that. So let's shoot for the gold. We cannot lie to ourselves anymore. COVID has proven that the world's in a mess. We focus on the economy when we should be focused on our spirituality, because it is our spirituality which brings us eternal happiness. Money doesn't buy happiness. Every rich person will tell you that. When we were born, we came in with nothing, just a naked little body. When we leave this planet, we can't take anything with us except our higher levels of consciousness, our compassion, our love, our respect for all beings, including self. How do we take that with us? Because our conscious, conscious, subconscious, superconscious are now at a higher frequency, right? So we take that with us. That stuff is invisible. It's not in our physical body. Physical body dies, but all that good stuff we take with us. So this is why the coaching industry must change the game. We must shoot for the gold, take our clients to permanent levels of higher levels of consciousness. And while willpower coaching may not take us there, spiritual coaching will definitely take us there. So a warrior of light glows from the inside. A warrior of light glows light because they glow from the inside. The coach cleans up their own negative thinking at the subconscious level for permanent positive change. These 80 methodologies, by the way, came to me through my intense meditation practice. And so I knew, and they came to help me heal first. And then, of course, now we teach it around the world. I think it's, and I worked on myself and worked on myself. I have removed mega thousand roadblocks in my subconscious mind. So how do you as a coach do this? Well, there are 4 points. Use the EISP tool, that's what I'm calling that divine connection tool, on yourself to lead your own life with peace and kindness and compassion for all. Don't stay stuck. Do the brain walk every day. Many of you are familiar with the brain walk. I'll show you the slide in a minute. Do it every day to root out your negative thoughts. It's a free process online. Eat a plant-based diet for compassionate living. This is important, yeah? Because if we're eating a non-plant-based diet, we're eating fear, and the clients can feel that damaging energy that we're putting into ourselves and protruding to others. And join our global meditation every Sunday at 2 p.m. UK time. No matter what religion you are, there's a 30-minute prayer and meditation. And just pray for world peace. Pray for the end of suffering to animals and humans and Mother Earth. 30 minutes, that's all that is necessary. People from all walks of life are joining us on that one. Thebrainwalk.com, you can experience it on our self-coaching site. You can also go to the Apple Store. There's a fancy version on there. You have to pay a few bucks for it, but it's really worth your while. The Brainwalk takes you into your subconscious mind very fast. Within 10 to 15 minutes, you kick your negative thoughts out and the positive ones flow in. You get solutions within 10 to 15 minutes. And my latest book, The God in Coaching, When Science and Spirit Merge in the Coaching Process, We Achieve Corporate Wellness, Loving Families, and a Healthier Planet. Inner peace brings world peace. The world's in chaos. How do we get world peace? We need to start, each individual has to find that inner peace, and then collectively we can bring world peace. It just makes sense. Okay. And on the last slide, there are a couple of TV shows that the slides you can just download from there. Okay, Dawn, 7 minutes for questions.
Brilliant. Thank you, Betska. I've seen quite a few of
Welcome.
your presentations, and that was probably the most enjoyable for me because it was so sharp and so focused and punchy. And I think it takes some time to get your head around some of this stuff. So you do need to see it a couple of times. I thought it was also interesting how you kind of led quite often with the what question, which is our previous speaker, Marilyn Frankel, had with the heart of laser focused coaching, was talking about the power of the what question. So thank you for that. And you're absolutely right. In order to be the best coach we can be, we have to start by working on ourselves. Very much, I think it was David who said in the very first call, the old classic, if you're on the aeroplane and there's an issue, what does the air hostess say? Get your mask on you first before you can help somebody else. It's not about being selfish. It's selfless to actually invest in yourself, which is why you're all here for this whole week's worth of CPD and business development learning. Once you are a better person, you have a better, deeper understanding of who you are, what you want, how you're going to get there, you're going to be so much more in tune with your clients. So thank you very much for that. So questions, please. Pop them in the chat box. We have a couple, so I'll just have a look. Naila particularly enjoyed the number chart. I can't see who said this. Begins with R. Highest frequency and above. Sound a bit inconsistent, Betska. Maybe love is the highest frequency, highest vibrational level, but it's all a vibrational level. I don't know if you want to comment on that.
Well, when you look at that values chart that I showed you, there are 76 values, and the value that has the highest frequency is love. The next one is grace.
Okay.
So you're absolutely right. Yeah. So I don't want you to misunderstand.
Aura says compassion plus unconditional love is the highest frequency, and Betska just added this to my thought process. Anne-Marie said, can people answer those questions? Can people answer those questions? What is your emotional block? As would they be aware? So how easy it is for them to answer those questions, those 4 questions that you had about the blocks, the roadblocks.
It is always, for my clients, you have to give them time, right? And make sure they're drinking water, right? So they can access the subconscious mind. And if they do have difficulty, I'm sorry, say that
And
again.
maybe even give an example just to kickstart things.
Yeah, you can give them an example, but remember, you have on the next slide, I gave you the chart. You can take them into their subconscious mind anyway and get them to pick a number, and their emotional spiritual roadblock will come up that way.
Okay. Sarah says, this is by far the most touching webinar I've attended. I did my thesis on coaching, a process for inner peace and freedom. I would love to read your book, Betska. On top, I'm taking a course now in inspirational leadership alongside my coaching diploma. See, so many coaches, they're just perpetual students, keep growing. I would love to know your opinion on how effective this would be at a corporate level.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, what was this young lady's name? What was her name?
Her name, I think it's Sarah.
Sarah. You know what, Sarah? I am primarily an executive coach. That's where I live. I coach presidents, vice presidents of companies. I've coached royalty. I've coached key political leaders, high-level government. I spend my life coaching leaders, and it works all the time. What happens when you're first starting a relationship with a client? What we have here at CLI is we have, again, 80 methodologies, and some are very simple, you know, like they're just laser questions, like typical coaching questions, how and what questions. As your client gets to know you and trust you, then these more beneficial tools like the EISP will come up and you can use them. And then with other clients, you know what I do? At the beginning of every relationship, I just say to them, what is your spiritual or religious bent? You know, I just want to know, or not, you know, because at the very beginning, if I know that, like, okay, I had a brand new client on Tuesday for International Coaching Week, and she had sent me her LinkedIn profile, and on there it says that she's a facilitator of meditation. I immediately knew that this type of work that I gave you here today would be perfect for them. Okay, now to finish answering that question, Sarah, our corporations and governments are a mess. Look what they're doing to the world. They need this type of coaching. You be strong inside and you say to yourself, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to offer them. But don't say it's spiritual coaching. Don't say it that way because they're going to run away. Yeah, you want to say to them that you have the ability to take them into their subconscious mind to find out the habits and beliefs that are no longer serving them, the negative ones that they need to turn into positive ones. So you need to use the right language. Hopefully I answered that.
Yeah. John Fielder, I think I've introduced John to you before a couple of years ago, Betska. You're both in the same field.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he says, totally brilliant.
Hi there,
Betska.
John.
Your light shines around you, peace on your path, and he's off to do the NHS clap, which is 8 o'clock in England, clapping for the NHS. So he's going to be bowing out of the court early.
Wonderful. Well, John, I've been a fan of John's for years too, so that's wonderful.
Good. Avilnia says, thank you so much for the inspiring information. I'm new to coaching and I have a question. How exactly do we change a negative belief into a positive?
Through the process that I shared with you, you want to, first of all, they need to know what those beliefs are. So when you ask their emotional, intellectual, spiritual, physical roadblocks, all their negative thoughts are roadblocks are going to come out. And then if you use the chart, you can go deeper into the subconscious to find the negative beliefs and habits and so on. The way you finally make the shift is through the integration methods, those 2 integration methods that I gave you. Sometimes, even without the integration, the client will pop, as we say, and they're just going to sigh with relief, they're going to cry, whatever, you know, they just realize why they've been holding on to a pattern for so long and it's no longer serving them. So, but I always say to our students, make sure you do that integration method. And when you try it, you're going to see, because you're taking them into that higher frequency of self, taking them into the God self. That's how you make the switch. And physically speaking, and again, I didn't have time to talk about receptors here today, but the receptors in the cells that are constricted because of that negativity open. They open to receive oxygen and glucose and receive the love and energy from the divine. That's how it happens. Good question. Woot.
Many people are leaving the call early because it's clapping time in the UK for the NHS. So it's nothing personal.
Oh, yes, yes.
But they're all sending best wishes. Please do keep your questions coming. But just while you're thinking, perhaps now, oh, we've got another question. Let's just have a look. It's from Christelle. I've taken Betska and John's course and the methodologies are brilliant. I've worked with executives who spend a lot of time in their heads in analysis. They trusted me, so we used the methods Betska took us through, and they had huge pops. I love that, and made great strides personally and professionally. Hello, Betska. Looking wonderful as always. When you have some one-to-one, when you have some one coaching, you use these methods, you can experience the pop. Okay, thank you.
In fact, you can try them on yourself, right? Krista will tell you that, you know, use this on yourself. You will see the amazing difference. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So before we wrap up, and just to give you another opportunity to ask any questions, we just like to end the calls by having a moment's reflection. Because if we leave all our CPD notes until the end of the day or the end of the week, all these beautiful hours that we've spent together will be merged. You won't remember what the key action points. Not least, we know it's a fact that if you don't take action within the first 10 minutes, you're less likely to do something. So right now, we're just going to have 1 minute silence and get your CPD notebook out or your form and just make a note of what you've got out of today, what you're going to do differently. And if another question pops into your head, please share it in the box and just share with Betska your CPD reflections, please. We'll start now. Okay, more comments. Dimitri endorses your course again, Betska. And again, I mean, she's a career coach working with executives. She did the work on herself first. It definitely works. It takes time and consistent effort. Joe's come up with a great question for you, Betska. What if a client believes they're not very spiritual? How would you incorporate this? And she says, sorry,
Joe?
if you've already covered it. She was out clapping for the NHS and she's back on the call.
Thank you so much for coming back, Joe. Let me share with you, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, not the other way around. So every being has a soul. Every being is spiritual. It's just that the way we've created our world to be run by economy, you know, we've here in North America, we're not even allowed to use the word God in our schools, you know, unless you belong to a Catholic school or something like that. So we have, for whatever reason, cut the divine out. So I want you to know that if you remember from my slide, when I asked about the spiritual roadblocks, I didn't say religious. I just said, Madam Client, spiritual roadblocks would fall into the realm of loving self, loving others, respecting self, respecting others. It could be love of God or Buddha, whatever, because some people are that way. Just use the method the way I presented it to you here today, and everybody will answer.
What about if you just, I mean, I love that sentence, and I think I would definitely use this, that everybody is a spiritual being having an experience, not the other way around. So what is your definition of spirit? Accepting there's always something bigger than ourselves. And that's probably how I would get the client to acknowledge what spirit means to them. Christelle says the subconscious minds collectively on our planet need love and spiritual help. Well, we can't disagree with that, Chantal. Christelle, sorry.
And Shritty is saying approaching the discussion.
Yeah, with the right questions have helped me. Good. All right. Okay. Any last questions? Because Betska is a very busy woman, and while she's in the hot seat and you've got her undivided attention, I don't want anyone to feel that they haven't been heard. How'd you join the meditations on Sunday again, please?
You know what? All you need to do at 2 p.m. UK time, you close your eyes and you just imagine you're meditating with all these gazillions of people around the world for 30 minutes. And if you have a meditation method, use it. If you don't, just pray. And the prayer is to stop the suffering of animals and humans and Mother Earth. Yeah, we need world peace. So every Sunday, you don't need to join any link or anything. You just sit there and do it for 30 minutes. Vidislava Koprinkova from Dublin. Hi.
Some fabulous
nice
names. That's the beauty of an international community. We've got some fabulous names. Apologies, I'm really rubbish at pronouncing people's names. But that's a self-limiting belief, I suppose. But thank you all for your participation. And Lynn says, do the brain walk.
Yes, do the brain walk. One of my clients from Australia, I kept telling her for the last 2 years, do the brain walk, and she finally did it because she just wrote a book, and she asked me to, do some writing in her book, and she did the brain walk, and she said, oh my God, do it. Please do it every day, Monday through Friday, and write to me, and you're just going to notice a huge difference.
What's your book, Lynn? Put a link in the chat box so people can look up your book.
Which book?
Were you talking about the book that Lynn's writing, or was
no? This was another. This was one of my clients is about to release a book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like we're going to wrap up a few minutes early. Yeah, just
thank you, Shreddy, for being here.
Yeah, lots of thank yous. You've really brought your passion and energy as usual. Even though it's the end of the day for many people, you've still got the afternoon to go. So have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you for participating with your generosity of spirit and sharing. Evidently, a lot of people have got a lot out of this, and we will share your presentation with everybody by email, probably when we've caught our breath sometime next week. And of course, if anybody wants to contact Betska directly, they can. And lastly, how is one lucky person going to win a signed copy of your book, Betska, please?
Well, I guess you're going to have to send me all their names, and just names are fine, and then I'll put them in a hat and pick one out.
As we've got the database, we'll just randomly pick one person, and we'll let you know who it is. All right?
And Sarah, the name of my book, Sarah, is The God in Coaching: The Key to a Happy Life. God in quotes, because it's not about religion, right? It's about connecting to the divine self. Yeah, sure, great, good. Thank you all for being here.
You're very welcome.
So lovely.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
Good night, and we'll see you tomorrow when we reconvene at 11 o'clock with Jennifer Britton, how to have virtual conversations when you're managing a team. So we'll see you again tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Betska.
Bye-bye now. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye now.